The saloon doors burst open, swinging on their hinges like the start of a bad omen. Smoke, laughter, and the sour scent of whiskey clung to the air. At the center of the chaos stood Sheriff Dugan, a man whose grin was as wide as his cruelty. "Choose any woman you want, cowboy," he bellowed, voice slicing through the piano's dying tune. The room quieted, all eyes turning to Jack Callahan, the drifter, the gun hand, the man who didn't belong anywhere. Jack's coat was dusted with road dirt, his face half hidden beneath the shadow of his hat. He'd come to Copperhorn for a drink, not a duel. But a rigged poker game and the sheriff's foul humor had cornered him into a trap. The townsfolk leaned forward, greedy for spectacle. Dugan's gold tooth flashed as he slapped the table. "You win. You ride free. You lose. You marry one of our ladies." The laughter rippled like wildfire. Jack studied his cards, then the sheriff's smug eyes. He could win, but something in him shifted, a tiredness deeper than the desert itself. He laid his hand down, slow and deliberate. "Guess I lose." "Then pick your bride," the sheriff sneered. Jack's gaze swept the room until it landed in the far corner. A heavy-set woman sat alone, shoulders hunched, eyes wide behind strands of hair that tried to hide her face. The laughter faded into a stunned hush. "I'll marry her," Jack said softly. The sheriff blinked. "The obese girl." Jack tipped his hat. "That's the one." For a moment, the saloon seemed to forget how to breathe. Then thunder cracked outside, a hard wind slamming the shutters. Jack didn't flinch. He just smiled, thin, calm, and dangerous. Tomorrow would be their wedding day. Morning light slanted through the chapel windows, painting the wooden pews in bands of gold and dust. Jack stood at the altar, hat in hand, his face unreadable. The town had shown up in full force, eager for ridicule disguised as celebration. Whispers slithered through the crowd like snakes in dry grass. Then the door opened and Mary Lou stepped inside. Her dress was plain, patched in places, the white fabric trembling around her like fragile courage. She didn't look up. Jack watched her approach, feeling the weight of every mocking stare she'd endured, every cruel laugh echoing in the hollow of her silence. When she reached him, she hesitated, hands shaking. He offered his own, rough and steady. "You ready?" he murmured. Her eyes flickered up, blue, uncertain and full of disbelief. "Why me?" Jack smiled faintly. "Because no one else ever saw you." The ceremony passed without music, without joy, just the sound of paper vows and restless boots. When it ended, the sheriff forced a grin, but his eyes betrayed confusion. Jack tipped his hat again, helping Mary Lou into his wagon. The crowd's laughter followed them only a short while before fading into the distance. At her small cabin, she stood in the doorway, unsure if she should speak. Jack carried in her things without a word. When he finally broke the silence, his tone was soft, almost fragile. "I don't need much. Just peace and maybe someone to share it with." Her lips trembled into a shy smile. She burned the stew that night, and he laughed, a low, genuine sound that startled them both. For the first time, the silence between them felt warm. Then, in that quiet, came the distant echo of hoofbeats, growing closer. The hoofbeats pounded closer, cutting through the rain that swept across the valley. Jack rose from his chair, eyes narrowing. The rhythm of the approaching horses carried trouble. Mary Lou clutched her shawl, fear flickering in her gaze. "Is it the sheriff?" she whispered. Jack checked his revolver, the motion smooth and certain. "Ain't no one else that eager to visit this late." Lightning split the sky as 3 figures rode into the yard, water gleaming on their coats. The sheriff's voice carried through the storm. "Come on out, Callahan. You can't hide behind your charity bride forever." Jack opened the door, stepping into the downpour. The rain plastered his hair to his face, dripping from the brim of his hat. You're trespassing, Dugan. Turn around, the sheriff sneered, hand hovering near his gun. You stole from me, boy. You think marrying the town's joke makes you decent? Jack's voice was steady. I didn't steal a damn thing. But you did. You stole her dignity, and you've been stealing this town's soul one laugh at a time. The gunfire came fast, mud splashed, thunder roared, and for a heartbeat the night burned white. When the smoke cleared, the sheriff lay in the dirt, his badge glinting faintly beneath the rain. Jack's arm bled, but his stance never faltered. Mary Lou ran to him, her tears mingling with the storm. By morning, word spread through Dust Valley like a wind through dry grass. The sheriff's ledger was found, proof of every crooked deal and false arrest. Jack's name was cleared, and the town's laughter turned to shame. Standing on the porch, Mary Lou watched the sunrise break through the clouds. Jack's hand found hers. Reckon peace ain't won easy, he said. She smiled softly. But it's worth every bullet.